What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY Transformers review, we're going to be taking a look at the new Flame Toys Kuro Kara Kuri Optimus Prime. Now, you guys saw that I got this not long ago in an out-the-box reaction. I waited way too long for this, so ended up purchasing it back around Christmas, and it didn't come in until March. And of course, given the changes in the current world and where it was coming from in the world, I was scared I wasn't going to get it at all. And you made it. Now, the awesome thing with the box here, you get this great shot of Optimus right on the front. Although it's so big, I'm having to hold it out at full extension here. Also, that's why my voice is probably so loud. So you got illustrator is Hyogo Funabashi. Painter is Hiroyuki Hirose. Deco Mass Labs, Mechanic Design, Chemical Attack. Nice. And then you've got Transformers Optimus 04 Prime. So it's the fourth version of Kuro Kara Kuri with Drift, Tarn, and Star Saber being the other ones. Took me a minute. So let's go around the box. You got a nice image over here. It does wrap around, so you got his axe there. Transformers Optimus Prime, big Autobot logo because this is an official product. And you got him here in a multitude of poses with a multitude of things. Photo may slightly vary from the final product. Transformers 04 Prime, all your warnings. D4 Toys, that's where you can get stuff officially. If you don't feel like going through other people, you can order directly from them. Also, you got nice Facebook thing there. That's cool. Ages 15 and up. Come on this side. Even differenter design. Count to the top, it looks like that. You come to the bottom, it looks like that. And now we'll open up the box because it's huge. Yeah, and it's a repeat of a lot of those poses. Actually, no, I think those are all new poses. So Optimus Prime, different poses. Photo may slightly vary from other products. Now, this is the normal retail version, so it's not the special version that comes with the giant jet axe, which I did want. I'm not even going to lie about it, but I'd missed that in time, didn't have the money in time. And that might even come in a new box because given how cramped this already is, I don't even know where they would put it. But it does have the nice magnetic closure there. This is one of those boxes I may not get rid of because frankly, it provides too much storage for anything and everything I'm not going to be using. But for now, let's get it out the way. By the way, this box by itself weighs like a pound. It's ridiculous. Now, first and foremost, we have the instructions, which you always want to go through first when you get something like this, considering you don't want to break anything in the using of it. Instruction, manual, all the same stuff there. Nice images around there. And you have everything that's included in the box, except for the bonus parts that you don't get. With this one, lots of different warnings. This shows you how to handle him so you don't break anything. Don't grab him this way, which I'm pretty sure I have. You got chest gimmicks, you can do things like that. Waist to hip gimmicks, you can do that. Shoulders can do things. Dorsal muscles, ooh, dorsal muscles. And then arms, all the kinds of things. Now, it also doesn't mention a lot of things, like, you know, which hand to use for which weapons and such. There's your body gimmick, your leg gimmick. Good lord, look at that. That's ridiculous. All the things. This is basically a review in a box. There's how to assemble the jet axe if you did get it. I didn't get the turbo jet axe. There you got the big sword gimmick, using sword stand, short gun gimmick versus a long gun gimmick. I don't know. That's supposed to be shotgun? I don't know. Because it does go from like a short mode to a long mode. Then you got the double-edged sword gimmick. Nothing crazy there. You can do things. Like I said, it's basically the whole review just in a book. Basically, it just shows you all things. Now, one thing that's interesting is this stand. So, talk about stage and supporting frame. And it shows a completely different mount. You guys can see that there and there. That's not the one that comes in the box at all. So, there's that. Oh, also, super important. This shows you how to activate the lights and where the batteries need to go and stuff. So you need that, of course, for the LEDs. So that's that. All right, guys, so here is Big Bot himself, looking really, really awesome in a multitude of reds, grays, blues, all the things, translucent bits everywhere, you know, on the chest, down here, around here, and he does look absolutely amazing. And he's pretty hefty. He's got a lot of die cast. Like, there's a lot of plastic, but there's also quite a lot of die cast. The eyes are solid. I think some bits over in here are solid metal, things like that. Around here, metal. And the finishes and everything are just absolutely ridiculous. You sit here and come around the back. And you can see a ton of these details, like the way the wheels are tucked in there. It's something I discovered the other day. He does have tail lights. They're on the back of his feet. That's awesome. I think the one thing they missed is if you could roll the wheels, but that's okay. Just ridiculous. Like, this is all molded plastic, but then you got the paint on top of it. Different silvers, gunmetals, copper colors, a little bit of gold, a little bit of amber there, different vents. Like, even here you got like a gunmetal that's all this all die cast, and then the plastic up here, light bluish gray along there to the silver, then some gold, and got the different colored reds all coming up here on the spine. Just looks awesome. Okay, so the main bulk of this review is going to be accessories, so let's go over his articulation and stuff first. So we'll come in close and look at the head. At least try to. Hold on. Go figure out how to do this. Okay, so the head does look pretty. It's all blue. Got the darker things here, silver. You got the eyes. It seems to be on a hinge, not necessarily a ball joint, but or maybe it's just like a universal swivel. Kind of hard to tell. But the neck does move in and of itself, so he can turkey neck, and you can tilt that way, you can tilt this way. I love the inclusion of that copper on the face, on the cheeks right there, and the eyes are bluish but also silver, so it's that problem of trying not to look dead. Main problem I'm having is he's so reflective the camera's not sure what to do, because he's shining in all the directions. Okay, hold on. Figure out what I can do about these lights. That's what I was talking about the other day. It's like I'm having issues trying to figure out exactly what to do with my lighting. Because for certain things, it's a little too extreme. It might be a little bit better. Okay, either way. So, we'll move on. So, you got these wonderful smokestacks here, molded in nice, even some nice copper here, gunmetal there. Too bad they don't get like longer or shorter. They're just there. Beautiful Autobot logo embossed here. I mean, you even got some copper paint there for the it's just absolutely insane. So let's see here. He does have this butterfly joint here, which is nice. And come forward up to there. So that's good. You can go up, and then if you wonk him in the head with this own thing, you can get this way up like so, like, yeah, super high teacher. Come back down. Now it was talking about, like, let's talk about the biceps or the chest. Something would move. Oh, it was the back, I think. Yeah, look at that. Okay, look, you can get the back moves a little bit. That's kind of cool. And then these flaps and stuff still work, so you can rotate all around. Tolerances are pretty nice. Nothing's too stiff, nothing's too loose. It's pretty good. You got bicep rotation, and you have a double jointed elbow, so that does that number. And it's all die cast back in here. Yeah, that's definitely die cast. And you got some fake pistons and stuff all up in there. But even the detail on the inside, like, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see this, but like, they molded a ton of detail in here. But I love the fact that just this little section here can move, because this wrist joint here moves. And look, that piston in there moves along with it. So you also get this wrist here, just to give you a lot of wobbly movement. but then the hand itself also rotates. Now these are the standard fist hands that come on the figure. And we'll get to all of the rest of the hands here in a bit. So let's talk about the torso articulation. And he can do a very nice ab crunch. And you do get this area back here that all gets exposed. Like, look at this. So this all moves and covers down on itself. And I think this right here ends up acting like a locking mechanism, because if you do that number, he can't rock back down. So that might be, either that's supposed to do that or it's not. I can't tell. Let's see if I can, well, let's hope I can fix it. There it goes. Okay, so this part. I mean, it's got to be able to do that on purpose. So, and you can see slots here that are going to come in handy here in a bit. Okay, and he can tilt side to side, in theory. Come on. Come on. Primer armor. There we go. And once again, you get some nice exposure there. There's his front wheels. I didn't even realize that. So his front wheels are tucked up inside the chest. That's badass. Okay, and you can see here all these nice molded details here of the like eyebrow shade there with the lights painted very nicely. Even the windshield wipers here, super tiny Autobot logo right in the middle of the chest. And yes, there's a thing going on with the chest. We'll look at it when we talk about gimmicks and such. Oh, by the way, I missed it. There's forearm rotation. Nice. I noticed it over here. I was like, wait a minute. I love that you got like the headlights here, and then of course the faux grille. Now he is not a specific rendition, and that's something that does bother a lot of people. He takes a lot of liberties with both the kind of anime style version or anime Japanese style version and from the IDW version, and seemingly some from the Bayverse version as well. That'll come up later, but here we go. Come to the crotch. So we got these nice crotch flaps here. More silver, translucent orange, some more of that light blue. This pulls up, and I know it's not for this. So he does have stuff coming later that will make use of that. He does have little side skirt holders there. He also has rear skirts that are on ball joints, but that pops off if you're not careful. You can also flex that a little bit. So let's pop that back in. Glad they built that in there. So the hips, you can take this big chunky leg, get a super kick forward, so you can do a really nice chorus line. Couldn't come up with the word. And you can do an almost perfect Jean-Claude. That's awesome. I don't think it will do a shimmy shimmy. It doesn't look like it's developed to do that, but that's okay. You do get plenty of thigh rotation. That's good. He also doesn't do like any dumb drop down hip gimmick like the models do. And I appreciate that, because on something like this, I wouldn't want it. Not a lot of people have a problem with like how chunky the legs are. I'm kind of okay with it. So you got these huge, chunky legs. Look at this nice painted blue. All the different colors, more gunmetal, more silver. You got the pistons in here. You can see that's very similar to the IDW model kit. And then a lot of the bits here, especially like the way the knee works. Whoa. What? Okay, hold on. What was that? It's just how the knee works. Oh my god, it does swing down. Okay, that's different. I didn't realize what was going on there. So the knee bits here are definitely from like IDW Prime, stuff like that. And then the big silver and different finishes here. The legs have so many different colors going on. It's kind of ridiculous. So let's look at that knee joint real quick, because I just discovered that. So pull that down. Now what I want you to see here is what's happening, because you can feel it. So this is up. You pull this down, and then all of that tucks inside that knee. And the entire thing rotates around. And look, you even get these vents that now get uncovered. That's all die cast inside there, so it feels super solid. The supplementary movement, so when you're pulling that down and the knee goes with it to completely cover that joint, is beautiful. And then all of this slides inside just like the IDW model kit. That is so freaking awesome. I love it. I love it so much. Now he does get these flippy ankle skirts. That's kind of annoying, but I mean, they don't really do anything. They're just there to cover down. Now you got a big old ball joint up in there that is usually pretty stuck when you get it. It took me a while to actually get this guy to move. So it does provide quite a lot of movement. I'm trying to just hold the leg in place. And I believe, yeah, you can do that. Even the toe tilt is absolutely ridiculous. And hey, look, he's got holes in the bottom of his feet. That's for stuff coming in the future. But yeah, more little skirts on every inch of the foot, just in case you need them. I'm trying to get this foot to rock back where it needs to go. But that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he's got great range for something so big and so kind of ridiculous. So if you utilize some of those extra moves, and hopefully you can get like way back, like oh yeah, I forgot to do the waist rotation, so you can do that number. And he's still pretty solid. That's awesome. Back to it. Okay, so let's talk about the obvious. He does have some light up gimmicks, but first and foremost, let's open up this chest just real quick. So you just pick up those bits and you get all of this exposed detail. And if you get this little guy, which is really hard to do, there's your matrix. So he does have a matrix barely tucked away in there. Now, if you push this button, which is just right back there, little gold thingy, very cleverly hidden, you get the matrix to light up and you get his eyes to light up. Let's see here, let me turn off so you can see better. It's got a whole lot of glow on. Now if you push that button, it lights up the rest of the chest. That just looks sick. And then of course you close that down, you close this down, makes it a little bit more muted, but it looks fantastic. Okay, so he does still have a couple other ones, and they are on the knees. So this is the hard part. So you actually have to pull these off to put the batteries in, but the switch is right back here. And it does help if you have a spudger to activate, because otherwise you can't get a finger back in there. So there's that. Hold on, let's kill the lights a little bit more to the best of my ability. Just kill all the lights. Shoky. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? That's just gorgeous. Now, would I have had the knees light up? Not necessarily, but I guess they're supposed to on the thing. I don't know if they're like part of his truck mode or something like that. If there's like I would have had the tail lights on the feet light up even though they're not facing forward. That's just me, you know? So like for the most part, I probably wouldn't even have the knees activated most of the time. I can't see anything now. It's like, I can't turn the knees off. Okay, I gotta turn the lights back on. Can't see. Okay. So, at least they're very simple switches. Though I wish they did a better, like, push button. Like, maybe the little thing right in the center. If that was the on button for the knees. I feel like it would have been a little bit better than hiding behind. But either way, it looks awesome. You gotta dig that. Now, the other thing he does have that you can modify just ever so slightly, you can take these things off the legs. Now, I'm pretty sure these are coming off for another reason, but it's an option if you don't like that extra heft to the legs. It does make them sleeker. Not gonna lie, I might actually leave them that way. But for the most part, it's pretty awesome. Oh, let me turn off the lights for now. And we can talk about other gimmicks. Let's go back up to the head. Now this is gonna be one of those things that's gonna be hard to show properly. Okay, so he does come with swap out face gimmicks. Now I'm gonna show you how to do it, but then I'm not gonna show every time I swap it. I'm just gonna show you the end result. So really what you want to do is pull off his little prime crest. The hard part is getting it off in the first place. So like they don't give you any kind of pry tool or anything like that. So if you have a spudger, it's going to be your best friend. So you can see there, hopefully you could see that, how I'm prying that forward. Otherwise you're going to have to get something sharp back there and ruin your beautiful new primes. Paint job. Okay, So this just slides out like so. And there you've got his face. Now what you want to do is get underneath the face and just pull outward. Like, you could probably do this by hand. His normal face with the battle mask, so to speak, is the hardest one to remove. But you kind of want to pull it up and out. Like, not pry upward, but just the prying will help. And then you just insert the new face. Like this. And then you could end up with like the phase 2 face, so to speak, where his battle mask is really damaged. And you can sort of see part of his actual face. But then that leads you to this. So you have the now kind of abomination that is his normal face. Now, this seems like a Transformers animated or maybe even an Orion Pax look, but to me, he looks a whole lot like Ultra Magnus. Given their relation, it kind of makes sense. And yes, the lights work on all of them. Actually, I think in particular, the no faceplate looks really good with the lights on. So I'm going to leave that face on there for the rest of the review. And I want to point out that in trying to pry this off, I have done a little bit of battle damage right there, scraping off some of that silver. So I'm going to scooch him back so that we can see some more stuff. Such as all of his hands. Like I said, he comes with a multitude. Drift came with a bunch of them too. So you have 2 pointing fingers for when he needs to point at Megatron. 2 holding hands. These look, I think these are meant for the swords, because there's kind of a groove here. These are meant for the swords or the axes. It's one of those things they don't exactly tell you. Then you have 2 very expressive hands, jazz hands. Some even more expressive, oh god, no, what have they done type hands. The other holding hands, I think these are meant for the gun, because there's a slight more trigger action going on there. And just for comparison here, you can see that there's a slight difference in the way that the thumb is. It's a little bit tighter, and the way that finger is a little bit looser. So either one of these could be used for the gun, either one could be used for the thing. So let's go ahead and hold on to those hands for the time being. But in case you're wondering, they're super simple to swap out. They're just on ball joints. They come off pretty easy. Okay, so before we get too much further, I want to talk about an accessory that's not really an accessory, and it is his backpack / jetpack, and it does look really nice. Same colors as everything else, but you do get these nice thrusters here. There's some gold and some silver, all kinds of nice detail here. It is very nice. And the wings that are very IDW-esque, even got some nice silver details in there. And it does plug onto his backpack, or onto his back very easily. You've just got some pegs and whatnot. Now, one thing I'm going to assume is for a future thing is these extra holes here. Now, I had an issue with this the first go-around. I think I needed to... There we go. So like they're kind of at a weird angle to really hold it in place. Like that's on there really well, but as you can see, that's that. Thrusters do move. Just be careful. They're very tight out of the box. And these do actually have some extra functionality that I discovered yesterday, not in the instructions. They do have like a burst mode, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Did not know it could do that. Now, since I mentioned the gun, we might as well start off with it so we can talk about all these weapons he has. And there it is. So you've got the gun, comes in gunmetal, some silver, some kind of goldish coppery color, some dark blue there. And this is its compact mode. Now the reason it does have a compact mode is, well, it's a lot like the MP. And it does store very similarly to the MP. Back here on the back, and you're like, but SHOKY, that can't do anything. There's nowhere to put that. It's not just gonna stick on. Is it magnetic? No. Ah, but you open up this and you say, That's not a thing. Oh, there's some nice details there. But how about this? Spring-loaded door. And you just... Look at that. That is some awesome weapon storage. And you guys know I love weapon storage so very much. That's just sick. Now you do have to be careful because, of course, you're rubbing up against painted surfaces. But, you know, just do what you got to do. Alright, so let's keep looking at the gun on its own, because this is its, like, compact mode. So, of course, if you want to uncompact it, you can just turn that around and unfold the handle. Now it's got like a little shorty pistol. Pew, 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 pew. And then, of course, you can just fold down the secondary handle, like that. That's not bad. Looks pretty good. Now let's just real quick try to determine which one of these hands is really meant for this. So let's grab a right hand, because Prime is right-handed. And the handle, in theory, should just tuck down like so. Okay, so that one will definitely work for the gun. You can see that it's right there, right at the trigger, so that might not be 100%. So let's try the other hand and see if that's a little bit different. Once again, these fingers are a little bit different, so that's already a little bit looser, so that's kind of nice. So let's get up in there. Okay, so I doubt, like, this one can work for the gun, but it's a much looser hold. You can see there, that's not really gripping it, so to speak, but it does fit all the way up on the trigger, so maybe that's the right one. Because it just depends on how tight a hold you want. So let's just say it's the other one, because once again, they don't tell you which one is for which, because they're all holding hands. It's just, and you can see I can't get it out now. Come on, get out of there. Alright, so let's go for the much tighter hand, I guess. I like that he's gripping it a little bit more. I don't like that it's fighting me as much, but, you know. Okay, so there it is. He's holding the gun. But now he's holding it at an angle. Maybe that is what this is, a sword hand. Okay, so put the hand on like so. I'll say that you gotta be careful because his feet are still kind of wonky. Once again, that joint is super tight on the side-to-side rocker, so get that a little bit straighter out there. Okay, so cool thing with the gun. So that's just a short, unimpressive mode, right? Oh, look at this. It can do that. That's pretty cool. Man, once again, those feet. I wish they had a locking mechanism. Oh, it looks like the side skirts might have a locking mechanism. But that's not super impressive, is it? Nope, because you can do this. And now he's got a full-on prime bazooka. Though to me, because of the way this slides out, it usually makes the barrel look a little bit wonky. But I guess it is what it is. You can just tuck that up, whatever you want to do with it. Once again, this is not... I mean, it works. It definitely works. But I'm still concerned it's not the right hand, considering how loose it is. But you can do that, or you can leave this tucked in, however you want to do it. That can extend fully, whatever you want to do. And he's still talking about... But it is what it is. But he still has a ton of weapons. So let's just get to those. Okay, so weapons time. So let's start out with these very much movie inspired. They said they're double-edged swords. I guess you want to consider that back-edge double-edged. That's fine. They're pretty cool. Translucent. Definitely reminiscent of the Bayverse movies. That's 100%. I feel like this is just pointless. They just wanted it to do something. There's no compacting these, making them smaller or anything like that. Nothing comes apart. It just is what it is. So let's see if we can't plug it into these hands and see what happens. Okay, so it holds it. Pretty snug. That's nice. And let's do this one. I don't remember which hand is on this one. It doesn't matter, I guess. So that hand holds these swords very nice. So now he can take you all on. Now, I'm not a fan of these weapons. I don't think they need to be with this version of Prime, but I guess not everybody can get what they want. But if you want, you can store them on the side skirts, very much like a 00 Gundam. In fact, very much like an Exia or a 00. Go ahead and throw those swords on the side skirts, buddy. Yeah. Actually, it's very similar, even the way the pegs come out. It's kind of funny. Once again, I'm not a giant fan of these as an aesthetic choice or a weapon choice for this Prime, but they're not bad. I get that this is very much an amalgam. By the way, I never checked. Oh yeah, I never did that. That's cool. They do go up. So yay for extra articulation I missed. Okay, he does have his little bitty jet axes. Why he needs two, I don't know. The detail on here is amazing, though. Look at this. Look at this coppery silver color. Got the thruster in there. Some gunmetal. Lots of silver. More gunmetal. Painted red. Silver veins running through there. Nice blue translucent silver on the inside. And then all this. Now, this is very similar to what the attack mode Prime has. Just not nearly as big. And, of course, no wheels. But that's basically what they're referencing, I guess. And then, once again, let's see how well these hands work for this. Now, he does have a very fat handle on this, so I'm guessing using the ones that are a bit more open is probably your best bet. Just sort of finagle that down into there, and then twist it into place. Okay, so this is the more open, this is the more closed. So let's see what happens if I use these. Okay, can't even get in there. So that's a pretty quick answer right there. So I guess these are also made for this. Now he can do these as a tight hold or a loose hold. It just depends on what you want to do. You know, I like my axes to be held with a little bit of sag in theory. And of course, they're just kind of gripping between the fingers and that ridge of the palm. So if you wanted to know how the hand's plugged on, that's how. So these are awesome. I like these axes. I just don't feel like he needed two. I would have been happier if he had one axe and then one of these swords. And then, you know, you could store each on the hips. Because as far as I know, there's no weapon storage for the axes. They're just there. He has weapon storage for everything else, but not the axes. It's kind of annoying. You saw right there how easily they pop out. But even if you wanted to get like a loose hold like that, he can hold it like a hatchet, kind of. Like he's about ready to throw it. So that's pretty cool. Now, just the jet axe aesthetic is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I just wish, like, I guess that's about as good as it goes. I kind of wish they would adopt some of that MP technology or even like MG Gundam technology where they tab into the hand. That would be great. Or if it's going to have a hand tab, give us articulated fingers for that. It's one time I'll ask for articulated fingers is when I have to hold a weapon that's weird like this. So have it plug into the palm and then be able to articulate the fingers. Now, of course, that's not all. Okay, guys, so by the way, I did finally get him in this hand, in the tighter hand, and it does seem to hold really well. So you can use either one. Obviously, these are meant more for the gun. This is probably meant more for holding the axes and stuff. Even the sword, this sword does hold a lot tighter in this grip. So you want the ones with the much more closed finger. But once again, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two hands except for how these fingers are positioned. So once again, you can use these. You just got to kind of finagle it. They work really well for these swords though, so I'm not really upset about that. Okay, so the final weapon in his arsenal is this ridiculous great sword or big sword or whatever they called it. Like, I wanted to call it the Star Saber, but it's not that. But look at this thing. So let's come down, first of all, because it comes with its own, like, plinth or pedestal or whatever with the Autobot logo there, and it does just sit in there. Nothing crazy. So you take that out. I really wish this had, like, a magnet or a clip or something. You could do it, but I guess it holds down enough weight. But the sword is absolutely stupendous. Look at this. This has got to be something like 8 inches long, 9 inches long. I mean, it's taller than he is. That's ridiculous. And just look at the beautiful paint job on this thing. So purple here for some reason instead of blue. You got reds, you got Autobot logo, silver, really nice metallic red there, what looks to be another matrix. Which one of the reason you think it's like a prime weapon if you want. Now it isn't 100% perfect because you don't have an Autobot logo on the other side, so that side's meant to face forward. He does have a very, very nice pointy end on the end down here. Now, does this come off? I don't think it does. No, it's all molded in. Okay, so it does have a gimmick. It does get bigger. Now, one thing you'll notice, you see that goes from clear to solid when you do that. So that part kind of sucks. But, you know, it's pretty cool in and of its own right. But this is actually pretty reminiscent of the sword that he gets in Age of Extinction, and then uses again in The Last Knight. So it is decent. It's crazy. So I'm going to fold it up. I actually like it in compact mode a little bit better. And we'll try to get it in his hand here. These are actually the tighter hands, like I was talking about a minute ago. And he can definitely hold that. But you want to be wary of the fact that that is a painted handle. Let's put that down all the way. So there we go. So he can hold it very nicely. And I think, let me see, you might be able to get him to dual wield it. I'm not sure. I always say dual wield. I mean two-hand. You might be able to. Oh yeah, you could totally get his hands over here to get another one. That might require use of a different hand. Let's see if I can get it. One thing you could tell is that I have not used the left hands for much because they're definitely tighter than the right ones. Come on. Get your hand in there, buddy. Seriously. Does not want to rotate. You can see how easily it worked out of the other hand, and this side it won't do anything. Okay. So in theory, he can kind of hold it two-handed, but one hand's going to have the grip, the other one's going to be kind of pretending to be holding it. So let's see if I can turn it. Actually turn the sword a little bit, probably not. Let's see here, let's rotate these hands out. Might be doable. So, I mean, he can do this. I don't know if you saw any of that. Now the camera's too low. So, he can sort of hold it in both hands. Sort of. I think this is one of those cases where I could have probably used the other hands, and it would have made more sense. But there is something I wanted to show off, which is pretty neat. I have to pry it out of his cold dead hands, so to speak. Like, this hand is, like, so tight now. Like, I don't know if I can get it to move. Just like so stupidly tight. There we go. I'm scared because the handle is just plastic. All right, so if you want to see something neat, and I don't know that this is 100% on purpose. Actually, hold on. I don't want it in the hand for this. I'm remembering things as I do them, okay? It's called being a reviewer. It's what happens. All right, so turn off the lights. Let's see a little bit better. Take our plinth there. Put this here. Go ahead and open up the prime chest. And the matrix essentially lines up with that in this mode. I don't think that's a coincidence. Now, of course, if you open it, it blocks off the light, but I don't think it's a coincidence that the Matrix just happens to be at almost the exact same height as the sword. You know, and also, you probably saw this teaser frame at some point on my Instagram. And it does actually have weapon storage on Prime, very much like Drift did. You saw this clip earlier. Now it does have 2 tabs on it, and then this weird peg shape there. So it will tab right in to there. It does hold it very nicely, but it does make your Prime ridiculously tall now. So let's see here if I can balance him out. So, yoink, it's like sticking way out the top of his head. Alright guys, so we can't get through this without the final comparisons. So here is the Drift figure that I did a while back. And he's still really good. He's just been chilling on my shelf. Been chilling up on the Flame Toy shelf being the centerpiece, but now Prime is definitely going to take that stake together. But you can see, of course, the light up gimmicks. Now they definitely come a bit further with their electronics, making it a little bit easier to use. I like some of the hidden gimmicks with him, where you pull the thing out and the shoulders light up, stuff like that. I wish his shoulder would light up. I think that's something that they're potentially missing. But as it goes, I also think Prime should be a little bit bigger. Now, I know scale isn't necessarily important, but I really thought Prime overall was going to be a lot bigger than Drift. I think Tarn is pretty sizable. I know, you know, Star Saber is a little bit bigger, but I mean, he's barely a head taller. And, you know, it's crazy. So, I mean, like, you even got his sword has a very similar gimmick to that one. Of course, that one does different stuff, but as it goes, you know, gimmick wise, they're pretty similar, but just obviously the very, very different aesthetic of the two things. And of course, he has a model that's out now. I don't know that I'll get it because, frankly, I don't feel like trying to match this from the model, but this is very similar to both the IDW and the non-IDW Prime, the attack mode version. But it just, as it goes, it's just really cool. Now, I do hate the fact that he comes with weapons that you can't store. You know, there's no way to do anything with these awesome jet axes. So what I might do for at least my display in the future, lose these swords off the hips, because I think they're just kind of ancillary. Go with at least one axe, have the big sword on display, and then, you know, have the gun in his hand. I do love the very large gun that he's rocking over there. And also, just for another comparison's sake, there he is next to an MG Gunpla that keeps losing his butt skirt, which is really annoying. So you can see, you know, a decent sized MG, he's definitely bigger than. And for those who thought I forgot, there's his stand. And he does have the plug. Like I said, this is a very different plug than they show on the box. And it does just go right up into his rear compartment, so to speak. And you can just insert it like that. And you'll notice that his feet aren't necessarily touching. But it's just up to you. You know, you can adjust the height and stuff like that. You can take it up pretty tall. The height adjusts back here, and then the fore and aft movement is controlled via that way. So you can get them in some really dynamic action poses, or just have them in a stable stand like that. I do wish there was a spot like just to have the sword, or if this was integrated into the base. So like I'll probably have this basically set up like that. The other thing I wish that it had is, given that this is actually very similar to like an imp or a PG base, I wish there was weapon storage underneath it, because I mean, you have this like literally almost a dozen hands and no real place to put them except back in the box. And I wanted to show off that it is the exact same base that you get with Drift. So, you know, even if you put them together on a display, so to speak. I forgot that Drift wasn't standing on the ground either. So you can have them that close together and still have plenty of room to function. But I think that's where I will leave it, guys. So this Prime is absolutely fantastic. Now let's just talk about the elephant in the wallet. He's stupid expensive. He is $400 some odd dollars, $450 thereabouts, just depending on where you get him from. And if that's out of your price range, I completely understand it. Now, for those who think that, oh, Shoky's a big YouTuber and got all this money, I ain't got nothing, dude. I was like, I got nothing. I barely make $50 a month, if that, on a very good month. So I saved up. So a lot of my Christmas money, a lot of the stuff that I got right at the end of the year, including that like last December kick of YouTube money, went to buying him. So I got a couple very good paychecks out of December, and that was it. So I saved up. I was already saving up to get him. I also got Devastator prior to that by selling some stuff. So, you know, you can get the things you want if you're willing to work for them, whether that's putting in more hours, if you can. Now, I know, obviously, with the current state of the world, working is a little bit harder. Believe me, it's not beyond me to understand that. But when it came down to these guys, you know, this one I got on layaway. And, you know, if you want to go through certain people, you can probably get some of these on layaway too. Like, I really want Megatron, and I'm going to see if I can talk to my buddy Nate Simmons over at Nate's Toys. No, Nate's Toy Shop. I can't remember the exact name of it either way. Find him on Facebook. I'm going to see if he can give me that Megatron and do like a layaway situation, because I really want the new IDW Megatron. And so, you know, that's another $400. And it's nothing I can just drop. So if you have the ability to get one of these, by all means. Also, I will say, it is a bit cheaper if you get directly from D4 Toys. Because if you buy directly from them, then you're just going to pay extra on shipping, but the overall thing is a little bit cheaper, plus you can usually get the special editions, like the Jet Axe for him, or the added head piece for this guy, or Tarn had the extra sonic weapons, Star Saber came with new head sculpt and a couple other things like that. Megatron comes with like his sniper gun case and stuff like that. But you can usually get those for cheaper than going through a US retailer and trying to go that way. Plus, with shipping, can genuinely cost cheaper than this. So if I got him with the Jet Axe from D4 Toys, it would have only been like $30 or so more expensive than US retail for the normal version. So that's just an option for you guys. If you think about it, just go check out D4 Toys. Same thing for their other things. Now, mind you, they are in Hong Kong, I believe. So be aware of what you might be getting into, and the obvious thing. But, you know, once the world is kind of cleaned up again, maybe it's something a little bit better off. But guys, I hope you like this. Go ahead and give me a big old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. And of course, go check out the merch store. Don't forget about the MS100 contest going on. Links are in the description down below to all those things. And remember, the merch all goes towards the charity right now. So go get you something. Be cool like Judd, because Judd got an awesome version of the MS100 with Char Chicken on it. That's awesome. But I'll catch you guys later. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.